Welcome to Dropping Gems Aftershow. I'm your host and holistic health and wellness educator, Keisha Christian. On today's episode, we have Dr. Toya Davis-Craig. She's the owner of Chi Essence and has studied herbalism as well as traditional and energy healing in complementary ways that support the notion of chemical-free wellness for over 20 years. LaToya has developed a healing system that incorporates universal energy and plant crystal-based medicines to promote holistic wellness. Stay tuned because you don't want to miss this. You are watching Dropping Gems After Show.
Dropping gems from Keisha Christian. She's on a mission, sharing information, knowledge for soul, body and mind. Dropping gems, KeishaGemz.com, KeishaGemz.com.
For inquiries, for sponsorship, or advertising on this program, email info@KeishaChristian.com for more information.
Wholeness, wellness, balance. Introducing Chi Essence. When you can't get to the spa, unwind right in the comfort of your own home with our Unwind product line. Relax and let go. Enjoy our bath salts, spray mist, and essential roll-ons. Handcrafted, our oils reduce stress, relieve tension, and ease anxiety. Our products are 100% all natural and safe for the whole family. Order online at shopchiessence.com.
Hello, everyone, and I want to welcome LaToya to the show. Thank you, LaToya, for taking time out of your schedule to come on this show today. And I am so excited about our conversation. And I have to tell everyone, when I met LaToya, and we just had so much in common and we clicked. So I was like, LaToya, you have to come on my show. So thank you for coming on today.
Well, yes, thank you so much for the invitation. I am so excited. I've been looking forward to it all week. And like you said, the similarities and the interests were uncanny. So yes, we had a great conversation and I'm looking forward to today.
Yes, most definitely. So let's get to it. You have a company called Chi Essence, correct? Now,
yes.
How did you come up with that name, and what exactly does your company entail, and what do you do?
Okay, yeah, sure. So Chi Essence we specialize in creating handcrafted essential oil-based products that are really about helping the user find an emotional and energetic balance, right? And so the name Chi, which means energy, redacted in this redacted form means energy. So what I really do focus on with the company and with the products is how can I use the energies of nature to create these products to help people, right? So the products are all made with essential oils. And so with that, what I'm doing is I'm tapping into those natural energies that are in plants. Then they are also infused with crystals. So I am then tapping into those energies that are part of the crystal. And then I layer there's another layer of Reiki energy. So the Chi is really like this energetic compound or essence that I'm using to help create energetic wellness for people.
Nice. And I like how what you're doing is you focus on using that energy from nature. Because this is my belief, all that we need is within nature. And the fact that you're using crystals in your products as well, I just think that is so interesting. So can you tell us a little about that? What made you want to use crystals, and what are some of the crystals that you actually use with your products or in your products?
Yes. So what made me want to use crystals is if you might can't see, like right here online, I have like a bunch of different things on, right? So in my normal everyday personal life, I incorporate crystals. I really believe in the healing properties of crystals. My kids gravitate towards them. Yes. Gravitate towards them and use them. And I think that so often, I really operate from this idea of energy is energy, right? And as long as you understand the energy, you are able to tap into it and direct it. And I think that sometimes we work so hard against nature. It's kind of like nature's like, use me, right? And we are like, no, I'm going to go this other route over here. And so for me, because that is my natural kind of inclination and mindset, when I was thinking about how can I amplify this product that I already have, the thought of crystals, just came to me. And honestly, I guess I can't take all of the credit for coming up with the crystal idea, because the idea of the company, although I was making products for home use and for, community people, the actual idea of the company and incorporating the crystals came through meditation. And so like some of my main products right now that I have were direct, what I call downloads when I went into meditation, which included those crystal combinations. So one of the ones, probably the main crystals, clear quartz is pretty much in all things. I believe in the power of clear quartz, right? You can use it to amplify whatever that other intention is. Rose quartz. So I have a blend that's called the Love Me All Over blend, right? Which is really about self-love and being able to appreciate yourself. And so I use rose quartz in that blend. I have an ancestral blend that really is about helping you to look into, we pass down, and trauma is passed down genetically, sometimes, or we might have patterns that we don't recognize are there. And so this particular blend kind of helps to bring those things up, and that has bloodstone in it. I would say if I had to go with my top 7 is probably the clear quartz, rose quartz, amethyst is in a lot. Carnelian I have a life with it. So to get that energy going, I use carnelian. I'm looking at my product table right now. I have a lot of like protection and clearing. So my aura cleanse. And so that uses like tourmaline, obsidian, shungite. So yeah, I think those are probably my top crystals.
Oh, those are your top crystals. Are those also your favorite crystals you like to use personally?
My favorite personal crystal is actually lapis lazuli.
Oh,
yeah, that is actually yes. And I think I also, things kind of shift for me seasonally. So I think I find myself gravitating towards different things depending on what's going on in my life. But right now, lapis is like my everyday go-to. I love labradorite. Although I teach people how to, properly care for and use crystals with like clearing and cleansing, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't necessarily follow that myself. And so the labradorite, although I love it because I don't clear it enough, we tend to have complications. And so because I know I'm not going to be better, I just tend to do stuff that doesn't require as much maintenance.
Oh, wow. And it's so funny that you mentioned that. That's one of my favorite stones.
Really?
I actually wear it a lot. And it's I know it's associated with business, success in business. So that's a stone that I wear quite often. That's one of my favorites. And like you mentioned, the clear quartz, I love that as well. Mm-hmm. Master healer.
Yes, I do. So my kids, we're all virtual right now, right? Everybody's working and learning at home, or, some combination of this. And so another one of my favorites actually is shungite. I'm really, when we're talking about energy, right? There's that good positive energy that we want to use and be able to channel for our upliftment, but there's also that energy that we probably don't want. And so with the kids, I'm really big on how are we shielding them or protecting them as much as possible. Life is life, but what things can I do to kind of help shield them from EMF or, extra radiation? And so they have nice little shungite pyramids at their workstation, and we keep like black tourmaline by the router
Yes,
for
very
the
good.
for the computer. Yeah. So all those things. And so I just wrap all of that stuff up when I'm making my products. And that's what I do. It's like a way of life. So it comes easily and naturally for me.
Nice. So when you send out your products, do you have like an explanation for each crystal, or like the purpose of the crystal going along with your products?
I do not. I went back and forth. So Chi Essence is maybe a little over a year old. I've gone through probably 3 branding identities, since then. When I first started, I was very information heavy. So, what does each essential oil mean? What does it do? Why is each crystal in here? And I realized that was as many people, that's like for people like me, and you who care, but the majority, they just want to know, does it work? You told me it's going to be in here. And the products, all of my products are named like explicitly like what they're going to do. And so it's like, said, this is unwind. Am I going to unwind when I use it? And so I have pulled back from, putting all of that type of information out there. I do I used to do it more regularly, but in my Facebook group, where I would go in each week and teach about either a crystal or herb or essential oil. And kind of, I have this theory of, go deep versus go wide. Mm-hmm. And so that would allow me to kind of in one day, just focus on one thing. Let's go deep with that. And then give the people in the group a week, kind of to explore it. And so I would talk about the crystals there, but I don't anymore, on like my product material and stuff.
Okay, I got you. You have to go along with what the consumer wants, basically. Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
So I'm curious to know where's your foundation? Like, did you come up in a family that had alternative healing methods? Like, where did this come from? Where did this originate from?
Yeah. So, what's interesting is sometimes we don't realize what we're doing until much later in life. I grew up in Miami, and always, Miami is a metropolis of Caribbean influences, and it is the tropics. It's the tropics in the U.S., right? And so for us growing up, there wasn't anything for my mom to be like, go out in the backyard. I always tell this joke where people would be like, there's that meme or stuff where people talk about going and get the switch off of out of the backyard. I was like, that wasn't like, my mom wasn't like going to get this. To me, my traumatic thing was when my mom would make me go out to the backyard and get cerasee from off of the gate. I think that cerasee is the most like horrible herb ever.
I know. My mother used to give me that to drink. I know.
Yes. And so when she would be like, go out there and pull that cerasee back, I was like, oh my gosh, like that was my reaction. So, but for me, that was just the way of life. So we never called it anything. I didn't think of it as studying herbalism or, using herbs. It just was what it was. It wasn't until I got to college and I actually started to study herbalism as a modality for healing and really looking into herbs. And I'm like, making these washes and baths and figuring out what to make for teas. And then it kind of just like started to click. I was like, wait a minute, I know this, So I think it's the thing of, although I didn't formally know it growing up, I was introduced, it was already in my spirit, so to speak, growing up. And then as I got older, I just formalized it in ways that where people like to codify stuff. So I did that.
Yes, most definitely. And I even think about my experience with that as it mirrors yours. The things that I learned in my herbalism class, I'm like, oh, my mom used that. My grandmother used that, so it's like, wow.
Yes.
It's as though, I like to say like the ancestors had pushed me forward on this path. That's how I like to say. So I just think that it's great that you're on this path, helping people to become a better or greater version of themselves by using your products to heal, which I think is wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
Now, I also see that you study Reiki, or you're a Reiki master.
Yes.
How do you tie that into your business? Because I know that you work with the crystals, the essential oils. So how do you tie the Reiki into that?
Okay. Yeah. So again, all things, if we go back with this idea that all things are energy, right? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It is what it is. It can only be directed. That's kind of a guiding principle for me, right? So it's like, how are we directing the energy? And so what Reiki teaches you is how to be open to this universal life energy or life force. One of my teachers, she says it's love energy, right? Love energy is the highest energy that there is. And so what I do in my products is I just channel, you learn a series of symbols when you're doing Reiki. Some of them are for in the moment. And then some of them are what we call like our distance healing Reiki symbols and things like that. So what I do with all of the products is after I create them, I actually then send, like if I was doing a distance Reiki session for someone, I send distance Reiki to all of my products. I seal it with the distant Reiki symbol. And one of the things that I kind of intend when I do it, one of the sayings in Reiki is Reiki does no harm. And that it continues to work past the moment that you were sending the energy, right? It continues to grow and evolve. And so as I am sending that energy and sealing it with that distance Reiki symbol, that is what I am intending for it to do. I am intending it to work in harmony with the plants and the crystals that are already in the container, and that it does no harm, and that it works for whoever receives it, their highest good, and continues to work past the moment that I have sent that energy. And so, at first I was like, what? This isn't a thing. But then I when you have experienced it, I was like, oh, this really does work. This is Reiki really does work. And so that's kind of how I do that, and I think the first product that I ever made was one that's called, through the company, was one that's called Aura Cleanse. And that one is essentially like, I call it my sage in the bottle. When you can't sage, when you can't do smoke, you can carry this around. I traveled a lot. Well, pre-COVID, I traveled a lot. And so, going into hotel rooms, you can't be lighting up candles and smoke and stuff in there to clean out the space. And so this Aura Cleanse was one of the first products that I made. It has frankincense, sage, and myrrh essential oils in it. And I remember like when I shook it up and I sprayed it, and I literally felt the charge, from when that happened. And I was like, okay. And I gave it to people, to test, tell me what you think, all of the stuff. And one of my friends, who was buying another type of sage in the bottle, for the lack of a better term, was like, oh my gosh, like I felt the energy shift as soon as I used it. I was like, yes, we got a winner. So that's how I do that.
Nice. You incorporating all that the universe has to offer as far as different modalities of using energy from nature into your products.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that you have gotten probably testimonials about your products and how it has helped to maybe heal, for lack of a better word, or to make people feel better.
Yes. Yes. And what I also find is interesting. So one of the things when you study essential oils is the idea that every oil, and I talk about this a lot, even too with crystals, right? So every crystal isn't going to do, or every oil isn't going to do the same thing for everyone, right? Because it is going to interact with that person's energetic makeup, right? So when I create the product, in my mind, I'm going to use my own wine blend, and my daughter, as she is like the perfect example for me. She swears, she's 10, she just turned 10. Literally just turned 10, but she swears by the unwind blend, right? When I was creating that, nowhere in my mind did I think a 10-year-old is going to need to unwind. I created it with the idea. No, I created it with the idea of, someone who's just had a lot of stress, anxiety, and they wanted to come down, but not necessarily go to sleep, right? I sometimes find most people use lavender or go to lavender, and it mellows you out a little bit too much that you can't be, still productive. And so I created this unwind blend for that in my mind. That's what I did it for. And somehow my daughter discovered that it has a whole other set of uses that I would have never thought of. But then when I think about the ingredients that are in it, it makes perfect sense to me, right? So she has stomach issues sometimes. Mm-hmm. And she discovered that if she uses the mist, not the roll-on, that she sprays her stomach and it, releases that tension or that tension that's in her stomach. At nighttime, if she can't sleep, she gets hot. She gets really, really hot. Her temperature is, she's not my child. At 78 is like, at 78, I'm like, oh, this is comfortable. And she's like, Mommy, can you please turn on the fan, turn on the air? But she sprays her feet with the unwind mist and it brings her body temperature down. And so like when she travels, she's like, Mommy, did you pack my spray? I have another person who used the roll-on. She said she was at the gym and that was all she had in her bag. She was at the gym. She felt, like a muscle strain or something. And she rolled it on her, I think it was her knee. She said she rolled it on her knee. And she was like, within a few minutes, it just kind of eased. And so, like I said, as I think about it, if we look at the individual properties, I definitely can see how those things would still offer those benefits for people. But it really is this thing of that it works like the Reiki energy. Reiki does no harm and it does what the person needs it to do. Exactly. And so I think because I do seal it, with that type of energy after I put the products in it, that it does kind of allow itself to morph or shift, to the individual client or customer, to the individual customer once they receive the product.
Nice. You mentioned your daughter. So I want you to, can you give some examples how other individuals or parents could incorporate essential oils into their child's lifestyle?
Yes. I think that so many times we go, there's like step A, B, C, D. We might start at D, and skip kind of A, B, and C. And I think that essential oils are a great A step, especially when we're thinking about behavioral, energetic, all of those types of issues. I think that essential oils and flower essences are a great, step A. And so a really easy one, and actually how I developed the roll-ons was because I was traveling one day and my daughter got sick. And normally if I was home, I would go and just put all my little blends together and put the oil in it and make it okay for her. And I couldn't do that because I wasn't here. And so I was like, dang it. When I got back, I just created pre-blended, roll-ons that they could always get and use. So they, can keep it in their bag. They take it to school, have it at their workstations. But for a parent at home, I think lavender is a pretty easy and adaptable essential oil. Yeah. There are a set of essential oils that are called that are adaptogenic. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that it adapts to the body, and frankincense, I think lavender are probably two that are really, really good for just at-home use for parents and kids. Yeah. You can just mix it, and the dilution rate is going to be different based on the age of the kid. But if you start with like a drop, in like a tablespoon of some type of carrier oil and just rub it on them. I think the soles of the feet are great for kids. Because the soles of the feet does have, points that correspond with everything in our body. Yes. So once it gets to the skin, it kind of instantly, goes through the body. But I think if I'm giving a blanket, not knowing age or size or height, I think that frankincense and lavender are really, really good for pretty much any, panoply of indicators, if you need them to calm down. And the other thing with lavender, like I mentioned, is because it is adaptogenic, like it can bring you down or it can bring you up, and frankincense, just on the cellular level, it really does it works to find this homeostasis, so it kind of brings everything in balance. And so I think that those are probably two good ones. Another easy way is the diffuser. I love a diffuser.
Yes.
I love a diffuser. When the kids are sick, I throw some peppermint or some eucalyptus, a few drops in the diffuser with, some water, go to bed. I also use frankincense or sage, but I think those are probably the two easiest ways, drop it in some oil, rub it on them, or in the diffuser. I think that those are the easiest ways for kids.
Yeah, definitely.
And get the kids involved. I think that once they start to realize, ask them how it makes them feel, have them use it. And I think that kids are so much more in tune with their bodies than we are as adults.
Yes.
That they notice those things easier, and quicker. And so if you give it to them as an option, and they'll start to self-care. They'll start their own self-care regimen, yes.
They definitely will. And they probably will get it themselves without even asking you, like, oh, I know what to do, rub it on.
Exactly. Which is why it's important to already have it, kind of pre.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because, essential oils can be toxic or overpowering, can burn your skin if you don't mix them well.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can just buy the ones, like some of the stores, they have some of the versions are already pre-mixed in oil, the droppers. And those are typically because that blend is really expensive. And so they pre-mix it to make it cheaper, but they do sell them.
Yeah, I know frankincense is that's a pricey oil, and myrrh. So lavender tends to be more affordable.
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely.
And lavender, it actually, you could use it without diluting it, not for a really small kid, but it is actually safe.
Yeah. I have a question to ask you. You mentioned something about carrier oils when creating those blends. Can you give the audience, can you expound upon that? What do you mean by carrier oils?
Yeah, so carrier oils essentially transmit the benefits of the essential oil into the body. There are different variety of oils that you can use. I prefer coconut oil. Mm-hmm. I fractionated coconut oil because the fat is already out of it, so the fat doesn't disturb the absorption rate. Mm-hmm. But you could easily use olive oil, almond oil. Sometimes I just run downstairs and grab the kitchen, we cook with olive oil or grapeseed oil. I use that. So really a carrier oil is just something that is going to dilute. It is. The carrier oil is just something that's going to dilute the strength of the essential oil. The other thing that is probably counterintuitive and why we have to dilute the oil is because the skin, basically the essence of the oil evaporates so quickly when you apply it directly to your skin. So when you add that carrier oil, it actually allows the absorption. You get more absorption from the benefits of the oil than if you just put that single drop, which is kind of, you think, I'm going to put it on my hand, I'm going to get the most effect, but it's actually the opposite. You get more benefit when you mix it with something else.
Yeah, so true, especially lavender. So
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I used to know the actual, like the percentage of the evaporation and stuff. I can't remember now, but the numbers are so drastically different from just a little bit of oil versus direct skin application.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does make sense, because I know lavender is a top note, so it evaporates quite quickly, and when you put it into products. So that's something that I remember from my herbalism classes.
Yes.
Well, Latoya, do you have any lasting words you want to leave with my audience?
Let's see. Well, one, thank you. Today has been great. I always enjoy when I get to, talk about what I love to do. I think if there was anything that I wanted to say, it really would be the idea that, trust that whatever thing there is, that nature has provided the solution for it. I think that oftentimes we are fixing the top, the top part of the problem and not looking at the bottom part of the problem. Mm-hmm. And so we keep having to do stuff because we're only doing the top part. And so I think that being in tune with ourselves, which goes back to this idea of energy, right? So how am I feeling? How am I feeling on the inside? Am I really taking the moment to assess what is truly happening, right? I'm stripping away all of these other external variables and distractions, right? I'm stripping that away. I'm tapping in on the inside. How am I feeling? And I think that we will find that nature will provide us the things that we need. If it's, our body telling us, you probably shouldn't be eating that, you might need some more water today, those types of things. I think that they all lend themselves to this overarching idea of health. And, if it's not my products, try somebody's products to really try to help with that energetic and emotional wellness. We don't have to do it. You don't have to do it by yourself. You don't get kudos, for trying to toe the line by yourself. There are all of these amazing tools and resources, and incorporate them. Make life easy on yourself. Incorporate some tools.
Yes, most definitely. And the message I'm getting as you speaking is to remain tuned into your body and listen. That's the message I'm receiving.
Yes. I completely agree with that.
Well, Latoya, can you tell us where we could reach you? Give us your social media handle. So my audience, anybody's interested in purchasing any of your products or learning more about you and what you do, how can we reach you?
Yeah, so my website is shopchiessence.com. That's shopchiessence.com. So there you'll find all of my products. But I also have a Facebook group, which is Chi Essence. And like I said, in that group, I do videos and post things about all forms of wellness. And then on Instagram, I'm at Chi Essence _1. And then our Facebook business page is also Chi Essence. So pretty much all things Chi Essence, except Instagram has the _1.
Yes, nice. And definitely Latoya's information will be on the description box below if you are watching this on YouTube. So all the information will be below, and check out the website. She has some amazing things. Well, Latoya, thank you so much for coming on today's episode. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone. Holistic health and much abundance to you. Peace and blessings.
Welcome to Dropping Gemz, an academy for holistic studies. Learn how to treat seasonal allergies and year-long allergies naturally with Keisha Christian. Her courses have helped parents, teachers, naturalists, and therapists reassess the way they handle allergy symptoms. Registration to our class is now open. Reserve your spot today. You can also become a certified holistic studies practitioner with us. Be empowered with knowledge and help us in spreading the positivity with the rest of the world. Visit www.droppinggemzacademy.com or email us at info@KeishaChristian.com.
I would like to thank our guest, Latoya, who will also be one of my speakers at my Loving on You virtual summit taking place on March 10th through the 13th. And a special thank you to you, my subscribers. If you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe, click the like button, and leave a comment down below letting me know how you enjoyed today's episode. Holistic health and much abundance to you. See you next week. Peace and blessings to you.